We are live.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdy Up North podcast. It's a nerdy podcast hosted by her Northern Nerds. I am one of your hosts, Sam.
And I'm my other host, Paul. And we are doing a kind of like a Friday night special. With, I think it's fair to say, when this movie was kind of announced, like when we saw the trailer, it was a lot of choices in that trailer, and it got a lot of people. Got a lot of people talking about it.
That's the right word. Choices.
So we made the brave attempt to say that we were going to review this movie and talk about it. And these are the brave souls that has joined us tonight. I say brave. Grant was always up for it. Charlotte kind of got dragged in, and Goodwill just didn't have a choice because Jake threw him under the bus. Because Jake went, "I'm not watching this movie. I am going to make Goodwill do it."
Oh, what's your partner like?
Partner in crime. They're the Twitch partners.
Yeah, so we are reviewing Rob Zombie's The Munsters.
Yes, and I don't know if you want to get the disclaimer out now.
Yeah, let's do it. While I'm still here, or like with it. So, everything discussed in tonight's episode is our opinions and our opinions alone. If you would like to discuss anything from tonight's episode, please come and join us in the Facebook group where we can have an open discussion. What we won't have is anyone coming for us and telling us our opinions are wrong. I mean, we might later on this occasion, but we can all agree to disagree in fandom. So let's keep it fun, keep it kind, and keep the toxic behaviour out of nerdism.
Well said.
Thank you.
And it sounded really professional when you did it on the BBC radio the other night.
I'm sorry, but I sounded amazing on the BBC.
But yes. So yeah, we were having a little bit of a discussion before we went live. So we'll have that little carry on. So Sam, you said you watched this movie last Sunday. Is that correct?
Literally, when we came off and from the last podcast, I was like, "Oh, what can I do? What can I do? I might as well get this out the way with." And I watched it last Sunday.
Cool.
And yeah.
Okay. And Charlotte, when did you watch it?
Monday.
I think through like chat, I was like, "Charlotte, come on, I need someone to talk about it
with." Goodwill, when did you watch it?
Last night,
the same as me. So we were the early birds. What about you, Grant? When did you partake in the gloriness of this movie?
Wednesday night. I had been looking for it for a couple of days beforehand, and I couldn't find a stream that wasn't full of hot women in my area that wanted no string sex. And then I finally found a stream for it Wednesday night. So
cool. So we've all had like a pretty recent viewing of the movie. What we do try and do in, like I say, the Nerdy Up North community and on the podcast as a whole is try and be positive, try and not shit on something for shitting on shit's sake. I know we went hard with Orgasmo, but we still looked at, like I say, the positives, and I know Grant will die on his sword when he says Orgasmo is a brilliant movie. We'll let him have that one.
Yes, I fucking will.
We don't shit on anyone's work, because at the end of the day, we're not making movies, are we?
Certainly. So I'd like to start out with the positives. I thought the costumes and the actual look of the movie was better than the trailer gave off.
Yeah.
There was still a lot of campy camera angles and stuff, but I think that was more to do with trying to reenact or do a homage to the original show. The guy who played Herman Munster, like I say, I haven't really got the cast list up in front of us. I should really, but I thought he was pretty much the standout performer in my eyes. I know, like I say, he did get a lot of Herman's mannerisms down, and he was quite entertaining. But the look, the film, like I say, the actual, like the gothy campiness, I enjoyed that aspect. I thought it was like really well done.
Do you want to hear something really controversial?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking liked it. I actually liked it. Like, I've spoken to Charlotte in depth about this, and the more I've thought about it, I will watch this again.
Okay.
I didn't think it was as bad as what the trailer made out to be. It was because I don't know, it's given us something to think about. I thought Herman was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Absolutely fantastic. And it's such a contrast from what I've seen him in before. It took us a while to, like, because his voice is so so distinguished that I was like, I've heard this voice before, but I don't recognize that face. And he's from one of my other favorite Rob Zombie films, The Lord of Salem. He's one of the radio hosts in that. And I was like, okay. And Grandpa, the Count, was just chef's kiss. He was brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I actually really enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad you did. I'm really glad.
You are very welcome. No, I've got so much I could. There's so much that is wrong with it, but a lot for me was quite right. And I'll get into what was not wrong with it.
No, I think it was a brave choice to do a prequel, like say, rather than just a rehash. Thought that was like say interesting to be do, but the actual plot of the movie, I didn't really get or know where it was going till a lot further in. Some of the cast, the acting, wow, was interesting.
Yeah.
As I said, the guy who played Frankenstein, who made like Herman, like out of Game of Thrones.
Robert Brake, he's brilliant.
No, you're not
Dr.
in this. He wasn't in this.
he really chewed the scenery on that one, didn't he?
But
did anybody spot who was playing his assistant?
Yes,
George Garcia.
Hurley.
Yeah.
Lost.
Hurley.
Yeah.
I thought he was entertaining every time he was on screen. Like, see, I like his interaction with Herman, and but as I said, it was strange because with it being a Rob Zombie film, I was expecting to go balls to the wall and like make it a Rob Zombie film, like, but without a certain casting being in Sherry Moon, I wouldn't have pinned this as a Rob Zombie film.
Yeah.
It was a Rob Zombie cast, that was for definite. Absolutely. Every person in there has been in another one of his films before.
It was a Rob Zombie cast and it was a Rob Zombie soundtrack.
Yeah,
the soundtrack was brilliant.
But
I loved it.
But I'm just wondering who the target audience for the movie was. So that was the only thing that was left, like me thinking when I was watching the movie, because I don't know if it was aimed at, like, say, Munster fans. I don't know if it was aimed at kids, because it was quite kiddish at times, like, say, with a few jokes and stuff. But it definitely wasn't for, I would say, like, the adult audience and stuff, because it didn't have, like, any in-jokes or any type of, like...
I got a bit of a, like, family film vibe. Like,
me too.
Film.
I think it was a family film, but it was more of a passion project for Rob Zombie himself because he is a huge Munsters fan, and I think above all, he did it for him and his wife.
Very much so. I think that's hit the nail on the head there more than anything else. Is the fact it was for him, and certainly for maybe something for Sherry to do. Maybe she was
Sherry
bored.
she does have businesses, but I do get where everyone's coming from, because I was when a lot of people were poo-pooing on the idea that Sherry would be playing Lily, and when I looked at it, I was like, aesthetically, she doesn't look like a Lily, and she definitely didn't act like one in that film either. But when I was watching it, I was like, I can't even like give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. This is not a good casting. She is not a good Lily. And what in the fuck was this?
Look, Lily kind of did that little bit in the TV show where it's like she had mannerism, but where
tiniest of bit, and she took what she could, because we actually went back, me and Anthem, we were looking at some old episodes and we were like, it's just not like Lily she was just a very strong woman, and this didn't come up quite often.
Compared to Jeff Phillips, who sort of nailed Herman's mannerisms a lot more subtly and a lot more naturally.
That laugh. It was that laugh. The laugh was just it's when he did that and then he started stamping his feet. I was like, oh, I can so see the I can't think of the original guy's name.
Fred, I think it's Fred Gwynn. I don't know.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Sometimes death is better. It was him. I saw him for like a second. If it could have just toned his green down a bit, it would have been absolutely spot on, because he was far too bright.
I think there was an element of oversaturation in the film itself, because like Paul mentioned, because Paul, you said you really liked the way the film looked. I noticed from the get-go, even from the trailer, there was a lot of colour in this. A lot of LED colour, not a lot of halogen colour.
It was almost like Joel Schumacher had got his hands on it.
It was something that apparently Rob Zombie, he loved the makeup so much on them that he wanted to accentuate it with the lights. So that's why there is so much blues, greens, and pinks, because he said he wanted to make a live action cartoon of the Munsters.
All right.
Then do a cartoon.
I know Grant's been a little bit quiet.
I know, I'm dying to know. What does Grant think?
Well, you were talking about whether it was a Rob Zombie film or not, and I think Goodwill hit it on the head with it being like a labour of love for him. I'm not just a fan of Rob Zombie's films. I am an absolute mega fan of his music, especially White Zombie in the early years. And you only need to look at that bit in Beavis and Butthead that he animated where they trip out in the desert to know what Rob Zombie wants a certain thing to look like.
Yeah.
The early part of this film, I'm very, very polarized on it. And, you know, the first half of it, I fell in love with it. I love the color. I'm a big fan of Dario Argento as far as horror is concerned. And if you look at movies like Inferno, there's a lot of that bright light kind of sort of half contrast and what have you going on. When I was watching it, I just got this wonderful kind of impression of everybody knows what steampunk is. To me, this was kind of like a few years down the line from steampunk. It was like transistor punk. It was like this beautiful Victorian fucking landscape with neon lights and CRTs and fluorescent lighting and all of that kind of stuff. I fucking adored that imagery. I really, really did. I don't think the color needed to be toned down. You should have turned it all the way up.
It's almost
like a cannon booth in there.
It's almost like that if the Munsters was in color back in the 60s, that's exactly what they would have done, because Star Trek did it when that was first colored. There was a lot of different colors to accentuate, and I think that's what the Munsters wanted.
Oh my god! I've just Technicolor. That's how it would have been, because Technicolor was like kind of turned up to 1,000, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it would had that like bright quality to it. I love the fact that you could get a Dario Argento a reference in there with Rob Zombie's and Munsters. I genuinely love the fact that you could do that.
Thank you very much.
But
Well, so when I see that kind of light, and it takes me back to the first time I saw Inferno, and the first time I saw Inferno, I was blown away up until the plastic skeleton head at the end. That upset me a little bit, but product of the time.
The only thing, like say, I thought again, it wasn't a film that I'm not going to come out and say I hate this film. It wasn't something that I'm going to go back to anytime. But I know my wife, she didn't enjoy it one bit. She just ended up picking up her phone and just reading through like whatever was on, or playing Candy Crush. It kind of lost. It was lost on her. I thought it would have worked so much better as a TV show type thing, like broken up in bits. Because even I don't know how, I know Goodwill's probably got the time, like how long the film was. It felt like a long film.
Nearly 2 hours, wasn't it?
It was 1 hour and 49 minutes because I was like, how long have I got before Ant realizes what I'm watching? Because he was asleep when I came out of the podcast, and that's when I thought, I'll take my opportunity now. And he woke up at the beginning, just as I was putting it on, and he sat and watched all the way through. And to be honest, I never heard him actually go, what the shit am I watching here? It wasn't until the end when he went, what the fuck just happened?
Nothing. That was
nothing.
because of how it ended, I felt like I was watching like an extended pilot for a TV show rather than a film.
I was looking at it, and it was like for the first part, I was like looking at my watch, looking at the time, and then it just felt like, I don't know if anyone else felt like the last 15 minutes was like the actual movie, and they just like sort of crammed it into 15 minutes, and I was like, is that it?
That whole the whole side plot of his brother-in-law werewolf screwing them over and stuff like that, and then like Zoya, the gypsy who end up getting the castle and then going to California. Like I say, it seemed to just take too long to get to that part in the movie.
Yeah.
I like I say, I love the romance, and like I say, what I thought would have been more funny, because when I saw the trailer, I was like, great, we're going to see Lily Munster going on loads of dates with all these creatures from like Hollywood. I thought that was going to be the interesting part, but all we got was that Freddy Krueger, Jackie Jones playing Nosferatu, whatever he's called.
Jackie Haley.
Jackie Haley.
Was that him playing Nosferatu? Because he looked like him, but everyone's looking at the cast now.
Oh, is that him who played? I don't want to. I can't move my arms. I'm too tired.
I will have a look.
Is that him who played Rorschach? Yeah.
I will craft my history.
I see where you get that from. It's that face, isn't it?
Yeah.
That beautiful rat-looking face.
That was one of my favorite bits of the film, when he was just showing out all the photos of like
the rats. Would you like to stroke it and stuff like that? And then
if I was single, that would 100% be me. Look at me pets.
Look at my rats.
Was he actually called Nosferatu?
I don't know if he was actually called that in the Munsters. I don't
know
if they were,
like him.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but that Creature of the Black Lagoon outfit was the worst one I've ever seen. I've seen better ones in Halloween shopping down in Hendon. Sorry.
Yeah, I got when Creature came on, because there was some huge Creature fan. I was like, oh, what have you done to him? I did my Rosemary's Baby moment. What have you done to his eyes?
But do you not think that kind of fits in with the aesthetic of it? Because it wasn't meant to look high budget, because it didn't when it first came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like aesthetically, it was everything you would expect the Munsters to be in colour.
Mm-hmm.
There's one thing you can say about Rob Zombie with regards to his filmmaking, and if he's going to do a visual effect, he's going to do it properly. He's going to do it the way that he wants it to be seen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There'd never be a criticism of Rob Zombie that like he got his special effects wrong, because I know he pays a lot of attention to detail with stuff like wigs and like practical effects and that kind of thing. I think everything that was meant to look shit was supposed to look shit.
The only thing that does kind of worry us a little bit about this is because after we saw the first trailer, the reaction it got, it kind of like the studio went into panic mode and sold it to Netflix, we're just not getting a cinema release anymore. Was there a fact that, like, say, this was a little bit rushed out as well? Because it could have been, as I said, they just wanted this off the books. A little bit like Warner Brothers are doing with every single DC premise at the moment.
Well, I heard the filming for this and the overall production was between November 21 and July this year.
Right.
Yeah.
So we got the trailer. I think we got the trailer at the beginning of August. I don't know if anyone knows.
Yeah.
That's pretty quick. But I also believe, and this is my conspiracy. Universal, the sub company was 1440. They do like what they call straight to DVD films, like Kindergarten Cop 2 and stuff. I believe they had so little faith in this film after they've seen it that they didn't even do a trailer. And I think Rob Zombie did the trailer himself.
Yeah.
Because this was also not even put on their YouTube channel. This was released through Twitter. There was no trailer added to Universal's YouTube channel for this.
But I've heard rumors as well that Universal's going to be the next company to be bought out by Warner Brothers and Discovery.
Oh God, it's all cancelled.
Oh my God, it's going to be like Warner Brothers versus Disney soon, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who's going to take over the world first?
The Disney walls.
Disney's money is bigger than all money, so
that's true.
But yeah, there's a lot of different theories and a lot of things. I did get a feel that this wasn't a complete film, just because, as you said, when we got the ending, it kind of just went, okay, so is that now the Munsters? And so because I saw the cast and people who were like rumored to be in it, because I know Elvira was meant to be in it as well.
She was.
Yeah, but I didn't recognize her. She was Barbara or something. Was that the?
She was the end. She was the real estate agent at the end.
Yeah.
The minute she came on, I was like, oh, it's my cousin.
I wish they could have done it actually as Elvira as well in some way. That would have been entertaining.
I think it was nice for her just to be Cassandra,
Mhm.
as opposed to having to, she's 70 odd year old now. Like she has to put all that clever on. I loved the fact that the Marilyn, the original, not the original, the second Marilyn.
Mhm.
She was the second one, Charlotte.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was in it,
Mhm.
and so was the original Eddie Munster. Don't ask me where they were though. Couldn't tell you.
She was the when they're on the plane going to California. She was the voiceover.
Yes, she was. That was it. Yes, because Dee Wallace is the voiceover for the Transylvanian. What do you call it? That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
that was Dee Wallace. Another actress who was becoming a Rob Zombie cast member.
Mhm.
I think this is a second film with him now.
Yeah, because I know when we got towards the end bit, and that's when it started feeling kind of like the Munsters, like that I remembered as a kid and stuff, when they're like being like out in society, out in like I say, trying to be these monsters in everyday life type thing, and that was the whole premise of the Munsters.
Yeah.
So I'm just surprised it did take so long for it to get there, and like the whole romance and like the honeymoon with Herman, but as well, because Lily was like, I could be wrong, but Lily was always a vampire. But when they were sitting out in the sun as well, that was kind of irritating us as well. I was like, why is she not like scared of the sun?
Yeah.
And couldn't quite understand what Lily was.
Mhm.
She didn't make it very clear. She had this like electric power, and like, and was like, what, like
That confused me.
he's like, I can't remember Lily being able to throw bolts out of her eyes.
He was a Sith Lord for some reason when they were
Yeah.
going to marriage. I was like, what? Palpatine?
I did love that they turned Herman Munster into a rock star with his crack dad jokes.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that
Oh,
T-shirt.
That was
yes.
brilliant.
I want that album cover on a T-shirt. I love that.
But that's
Yes.
yeah, but that's the thing. I do think they got Herman right. Like I say, they got elements where you thought when you're watching, this feels like the old TV show, the campy funness that I didn't expect I would get. I thought we were going to get Rob Zombie Strange, something out of like a B movie, a porn set or something like that. Like I thought the visuals and stuff that we got from the trailers were that bad when we originally saw it. I was getting, if they put the movie together like this, and again they used certain flares, and like even the shoddy camera angles was used the same way as it was used in the show, and it kind of got that feeling. I thought, right, they're getting so many elements right, but it just wasn't quite there. It's as Goodwill and Grant both said, it was like a passion project, and probably Rob Zombies just went, right, I want to do zombie, I want to do it my way, and like how I remembered and stuff like that. But that doesn't always translate to other fans or whatever people like. I know you're never going to make everyone happy.
No.
That's the big all or end all of it. But it just, if you're going to take on something as loved, and because if you look back at other films that's done certain similar films, if you like go back to the Addams Family, the Addams Family changed it enough where it was completely different, but it still had the same feeling as the show. Because if you go back and watch the Addams Family TV show, it is literally just a one joke note. It's all campy and creepy. But the actual Addams Family movies are just works of art when you look at them. Like it's all to do about getting the right cast, getting the right people. I don't necessarily think the story was that bad. It was just long winded.
Yeah, the chat's not agreeing. Like, I love that comment, Rob. What do you mean, plot zombie?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think
That's the two biggest things that let us down for me was Sherry Moon and her. What was that?
Choices.
Her bad Marilyn Monroe impression. It was though, like that voice was just.
Yeah, I didn't know where that voice goes. Lily Munster in the Munsters, she's the scary one. She's the she's the powerful one. She's the powerhouse of the family.
Okay.
It's this. Like, what is all this? It's I tell you what though, that outfit she wore when they were on their honeymoon in Paris was beautiful. Absolutely. I cannot say the woman is not beautiful. She is. I actually am quite a bit of a fan of hers.
Yeah.
But she
has got trailer park eyes. You can put her in anything she wants. Her eyes look like it's going to be like skinning
yes, her eyes look like she's been taken out of a certain environment.
That was the thing, though. She
You're all
didn't
saying
have
that
the
like it's
elegance of
bad.
Lily.
Not saying it's a bad thing, but when you look at Lily Moon, Lily Munster, sorry, that's what we got. Lily Moon, it wasn't. Lily, when you look at Lily Munster, as you said, she's classy, she's powerful, she's scary. Like say Herman, like wouldn't mess with her. You can tell like there was a connection there, but like see from Herman you could see why he adored, but like it was just it's just everything.
Choices.
I think Kev put it best as well. If Rob Zombie was ever going to remake any film like Jaws, or even he would cast Lily Zombie as a Sherry Moon, sorry, as the shark, whatever she's called, all the different versions.
Yeah, and do you know what? It's such a shame because there would have been somebody else who could have just gotten. She just didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like she almost went, oh well, this is how I'll do it. I'll tame down baby Firefly in a way. Like there was just I don't know. I just was not, and I really do like her, and I just couldn't find, apart from what she was wearing, anything that said Lily about her.
Yeah. I was in absolute creases at the "I got you, babe" bit.
Oh my god!
I thought that bit was brilliant, but it didn't feel like Lily and Herman.
Can I stand the defense of Lily here for just a second?
Please, Grant.
Okay, this is a prequel, okay? And it's a slightly modernized prequel with slightly modernized values and all of that kind of stuff. What kind of girl, like personality-wise, look-wise, wants to fuck Herman Munster?
Sam?
I mean, seriously, if you look at what kind of girl goes out and looks at that, you can only imagine what the rest of him fucking looks like and thinks, why I tear us in half. Bratty, hypermanic size queen. That's what she played. That's exactly what Lily was when she was young. She's just thinking, I want him to rip us apart.
You know what to say about men with big bolts, Grant?
I genuinely thought at some point, I honestly thought in that you were going to make a really good argument and not go down the route of, yes, I want him to tear me a new one.
Did you really, Sammy? Did you really?
She's pursuing him, you know what I mean? She's got to be kind of erratic and slightly unhinged to want to fuck Frankenstein's monster.
Or what she'd been through before. That's what it was. Like, say we should have had like a Rocky montage of all of our ex-boyfriends and stuff.
Because we love a good fucking montage.
Disappointing werewolf ejaculates and just like scrubbing it out of my favourite party dress with a toothbrush.
It's taken 27 minutes for the tone to be lowered.
And this was a family film as well.
I'm waiting for the advert to stop being dirty. That's when 69 Mega appears.
We're just waiting for the comments to come in.
I ain't modding that chat. Someone else is going to have to fight that tonight. I ain't scrubbing that clean. Did just go on about the film itself as a whole. Did anyone else have audio issues throughout, as in scenes where they were just super quiet and then scenes where they were just super loud?
I had a mess with it.
Not that I noticed.
Mine, I thought was, I don't know if it was just the stream I was using, but mine kept on going out of sync. So I had to keep on lining up the track every so often, but I think that was just more to do with the dodgy stuff I was using.
Dodgy Up North.
Dodgy Up North. I noticed this in the actual trailer as well. It's almost there was a lot of issues with sound levels and audio mixing, and it was almost like it was just all scratch track, as in it was never polished through ADR at all. It was never like there was a scene where Lily and Grandpa are at a table, and it was all, you know, where the telly was in the centre and when she first sees Herman. And it was almost like that the microphone was all pointed towards Lily, and they just thought, that'll pick up Grandpa. And it was like, oh, he's beautiful. And it's just like, Yeah, okay. I think he's great too. I'm just like, what? I can't really hear you. And
For
there
the
was
back,
certain
Grandpa, for the back.
yeah, and there was certain scenes where it's like I turned it up to like near enough 100, and then the next scene it was booming at me, and I had to turn it back
Oh, I
down. Again.
generally couldn't. I can't remember.
Maybe you're going
It
deaf.
did seem it did seem slightly
Maybe.
unpolished, like slightly
Yeah.
unfinished.
Yeah.
That's where I think, like said, what was mentioned earlier, like from getting the trailer, because normally when you get a trailer for someone that for a potential big movie, because let's be honest, the Munsters is still a massive IP and it's got a big following. This could have been like huge, and from getting a trailer and the movie release within a month, that to me, like say, there's probably a lot of stuff being
That's a
pushed,
lot.
but like as Grant says, Rob Zombie does like to fiddle with his work as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if like in 6 months or a year's time we'll get a director's cut of this as well, with either some alternative footage with probably cleaned up a little bit more, and like as I said, any of the issues that they're probably, because they're doing it now with Stranger Things. If you go back and watch Stranger Things now, there's different scenes, there's different things already being added in.
The Duffer Brothers took a look at it and just went, "Oh, because of the platform we're on, we can't actually make changes after it's out." And that's it. Yeah, I knew that. But didn't this come out on This came out on Blu-ray. This is how we've actually been able to see it.
No,
because
it came out in streaming in America on Wednesday, I believe.
No, I've seen people with physical copies
yes,
with Blu-rays. This is how I was like, this is how I'm going to be able to watch it now. But yeah, they had physical copies of it.
Yeah, but as soon as it hits online, as soon as it hits any streaming voice, you can get a copy online. It doesn't have to be like a physical form.
Yeah, because us dodgy northerners can't watch it on the actual platform.
I think UK Netflix.
I think there was an element of rushness, like you said, Paul. It's just because principal photography for November to June.
Grant's had enough.
How dare you?
How dare you? I think if he's then had 2 months to edit and do the special effects, that's insane.
Yeah, but that's why I think Grant said it perfect. The first part of the film felt like a finished article. The second half, like even when they're going they're having the costume competition part, it was all smoky and dark, and like it was completely different contrast to what we've seen. I think I don't know if there should have been highlights or anything put in, but again, like say that elements didn't quite make sense, and how they would like say, "Oh yeah, Herman, you're a big fella. We'll give you a job in our funeral parlor," and stuff like that.
When they said that, I lost my mind.
Yeah.
I actually, when I heard Mr. Graves' name, I was like, "Oh, this is what Herman does." And then when Herman won that money at the end, I went, "That is not what happened to Herman." He went and worked at the funeral home, and I was so baffled by the ending. I was like. And also, when I saw the fact that it didn't say, because I'm saying to Anthony, "Oh my God, it's Mockingbird Lane," and then it came up with something else. I was like,
"Yeah,
that didn't say Mockingbird Lane."
Do you think, right, in his mind, and it's probably not, but do you think in his mind that Rob Zombie thought he was going to get a sequel, and then halfway through filming, he knew?
Well, let's be honest. They give him Halloween 2 after that fucking shit show. I'm sorry.
Grant's on mute. It's all right. Say what you want now. Grant is on mute.
But after Halloween, they give him Halloween 2 as well. So that I wouldn't be surprised if Rob Zombie was thinking he could get, because this was a better film than Halloween. I'm sorry. It had a more cohesive story, and that's saying a lot. And Grant's shaking his head, looking very serious now.
I think he's having audio issues. Charlotte has just disappeared. Jesus, what is going on?
I'm back. Sorry, I was about to die.
What is happening? Is Rob Zombie taking over the production of this podcast?
Found out we're all dodgy. They're intercepting us now.
Yeah.
They realise how we watched it.
But I think, I definitely think he was hoping he was going to get more out of what he got from this, because I'll be surprised now. So Grant, I think we've lost Grant's.
No Grant.
But see what happens. See if he comes back.
Well, we can still see him. That's normally because normally he disappears. He normally freezes on us.
Oh, he's looking very sadistic and
He's judging us. He's judging us right now.
looking very Charlie.
He's actually given Bill Moseley like a run for his money.
Giving us Charles Manson vibes there. Is he coming back?
It did definitely feel like a setup for a part 2 rather than a standalone.
I felt it was very. I mean, towards the when Herman picked up when Lily gave him his lunchbox, I lost my shit because I was like, "It's the lunchbox from the show," and then I thought they were setting it all up, and then obviously her brother comes in and goes, "Here's your shit," and I'm like, "That's so out of character for that."
Was anybody else confused as to how that was her brother?
No,
Because
maybe the mother was a werewolf.
maybe, yeah.
And maybe that because I think they might have to explain Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. And now Grant
Yeah.
has the blood on his face. I'm very happy because I've gone this whole podcast on YouTube with blood all over my face, and now it's Grant's turn.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys.
You have the blood, Grant. Actually, Grant, you look incredibly sadistic when it's like this blood coming down here and then you're here.
The look I'm always going for.
That was the last person who slagged off Orgasmo.
There's plenty of them out there. Don't worry, it'll take a long time to kill them off.
I love Orgasmo, Grant, and I will stick it up there. I'll stick up there.
Yeah,
You'll stick it up where?
up there.
You want, darling, wherever you want.
Oh God! Reminder in the future. Grant and Goodwill not on together.
Start a road podcast.
With blackjack and hookers.
So in my opinion, this movie would have worked better more as a TV show. This would have been, like I say, a decent pilot, and then leading into seeing where it would go. I would probably would have stuck with the show more because then they would have found the feet, found the writing, recast a few parts. I think we all would agree.
It's funny that you say that, Paul. I've got a nun fact for you. A nun fact live.
Nun fact.
Wow.
Nun fact. Did you know, fellow nuns, that Brian Fuller filmed a pilot of the Munsters last year, and it was dropped straight away?
Was that the one?
And it was a TV show.
Was that the Eddie Izzard one, or was that previously?
No, this was last year.
Right,
This was a pilot, TV show pilot for a new Munsters, and Universal just went, nope. Hello, Rob Zombie.
Is Brian Fuller the bad one or the alright? Is he good?
He's the good one. He's not the.
He's the good one.
He's not the X-Men one.
Right. Okay.
The other Brian is the bad one.
Right. Okay. He's the good one. Okay. I was like, whew, okay.
He's the one that done Hannibal.
Right.
He was called. He was honestly. He did a sitcom. It was Mockingbird Lane that they called it, and filmed the pilot. Wasn't even aired. Dropped it.
Wow.
Was there not a movie?
Okay.
Was there not a movie called Mockingbird Lane as well? Is that not what he was trying to review? I'm sure there was a film called Mockingbird Lane.
This is all new information. Should I get Google?
It was a TV show, I believe.
I'm 100% sure there's a movie called Mockingbird Lane.
But that's what I was actually just going to bring up was how when did the I know the Munsters had like its moments like from the 60s till about the 80s because it was like they had the TV show, then they had the specials, and then they had a new cast come in and do it, and then you just zoom nothing for years. How have we not had something before now of the Munsters?
We had something in. They had an animated. Yeah, and they had an animated show in the 70s as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like the 50s, like the 60s up to the 80s, there was a lot going on. But then like it's just gone radio silence. And the Addams Family, who out of the two families, the Munsters were always my favourite, has had a lot more screen presence.
Oh wow! I'm just reading about this Brian Fuller. It was actually 2012. My mistake. I do apologise. It was a dark reimagining of the Munsters. For television. Have a guess who Herman Munster was going to be? Jerry O'Connell from Sliders.
All right.
Oh, but for instance, the kid from Stand By Me.
And you guys are correct. Eddie Izzard was Grandpa.
Yeah, I knew that because
I can totally say that.
I honestly thought there was one developed last year. I could have swore.
There's a pilot. You can actually get the pilot if you look around. I'm sure I've seen it because I remember Eddie Izzard being a part of it. That was the.
I'm
Oh.
almost
I-
sure it came, I'm almost
already
sure it
found
came
them.
up when I was watching.
Oh, Grant's already found it.
No.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut Charlotte off there. They're on Daily Motion. If anybody wants to see it, it's cut into 3 parts.
Oh.
Mhm.
I did not know this was a
Whoa. Oh, those images are cursed. Wow.
thing.
Yeah. So, do you think we're going to get a sequel from this?
I'm going to say
I-
yes.
Yeah, I do. I really do. You are right. If someone give the green light for Halloween 2, they've got some like faith in them.
Hear me
I
out.
kind of want that to be,
Me too.
but I think because of how universally planned it's been, I don't think it
But the
will
thing
be.
is-
But
So-
does it have cult status?
Exactly. That's what I.
Ooh.
Yes, because the Blu-ray sales are actually quite good. The Netflix reviewing hasn't been too bad.
I genuinely think this is going to be one of those ones where, despite all the terrible reviews, people are going to watch to see if it's as bad as the reviews are saying.
Mhm.
So the viewing ratings are actually going to be quite high. So it
Yeah.
might be
Mhm.
that it gets a sequel.
I mean, come on, they don't always listen to reviews, do they? There's been some absolute monstrosities made in sequels.
Wow.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about them on Sunday.
Oh God. Oh God.
Yes.
I am going to watch Dream Warriors. I know I have to do that this weekend.
Yes. But no, like I say, I was expecting to hate this more than I probably think. But I was trying not to go in with that expectation. That was my big worry when, like, say, I was trying to prepare myself, saying, "Don't think you're going to hate it. Just let it. Just watch the film and experience." Because I think a lot of people are already slagging it off, and before it's even started, like,
Yeah.
soon as I put the post on the Facebook page, not the group, but on the page, saying that we were going to like review the Munsters, I think like the majority of the posts were negative. But I don't know how many of them people have actually seen the movie. It was just like, oh, it's easier to review this to see
A lot of
shit.
A lot of it was like, oh, I turned it off after 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Like, you can't really
Like with an you
judge a
can't
movie
really judge
after
it.
10
then.
minutes, can you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
A lot more happened. And I was like, I was taken on a bit of a ride with it. I'm not going to lie. Like I really didn't mind it when I sat there and like me and Charlotte have been like chatting about it because I
Well,
was
you
like,
shouldn't
Charlotte,
be.
please
That's
just
not
watch it.
allowed. You're not allowed
Well, I'm
to do
sorry.
that.
I needed someone to
Yeah,
validate what I was feeling, Paul. Because I was like, am I meant to like this?
That's what your husband's for.
Oh, God, he's not interested.
I think
All he's good for.
The only thing
I
he
think
was
me and Sammy were pretty much on the same page with it,
Yeah.
weren't
very much. We were like, did we like this? I think we did.
You two are on the naughty step now. You're on the
I
bad.
But I'm sorry, Paul. I mean, I didn't like it,
Mhm.
but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
And I can sort of appreciate the cheesiness of it and
That's-
the way it was shot.
But I think that's what saved it more than anything else, is because it knew it wasn't to take itself too seriously, so that allowed you to like get caught up
Yeah.
with how silly and stupid it was.
Mhm.
Again, just not a bad idea, not bad. It's just like, as I know I keep saying it, but choices that they made kind of spoil it, just because of he wants to have certain people in certain roles, or I don't mind if he wanted to have his wife in the film, but not play
It's not
a
as-
character
not as
that she
Lily.
couldn't play. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. It was wasted on her.
Mhm.
We could have had a really
I would have been.
Really
I would have liked it having, like, say, the girl who plays Elvira, Cassandra, was her name?
Cassandra Peterson.
Cassandra Peterson. Have her as Lily. I would have took that.
I
That'd
did
have been
love
quite
how
cool.
many. I did love how many faces were in it where you go, oh, it's that guy, or oh, it's that guy. Like Ego
Oh.
was Sylvester McCoy.
I was just going to say, you've
Like, I was
not
just like,
mentioned
oh my
the
god,
fact
that bit was
He was
like that bit. I was like, is it? And like it was his voice, and I was like, oh my god, it is. So there was.
But then
a lot
when I
of, like,
realised it was the bat on top of Grandpa's, I was like, what?
so there was a lot of faces in it that like there might not be like massive names, but you know the faces.
yeah.
I liked it when they got to Mockingbird Lane. I wasn't too keen on the, I don't know, like the honeymoony bit, even though she did look fabulous. I wanted to see more of the street that they were going to be living in.
Yeah, and
Like, I wanted to see that because they kind of it looked fun.
Yeah, it would have been good to see building that interactions with the street and how, like, say, the people kind of interacted with them once they realised that they're not in the outfits. That was always like the kind of interesting, the in jokes in the TV show back in the day. That's the kind of humour that was lost out, and I think the Addams Family. I said sorry to keep, because this is the where it'll always get compared to, like, because it was the similar type of time, similar times, and when the Addams Family come out and how well produced, and like, if you think about how well that was shot, like, even for the time, it still holds up as one of the most beautiful gothic movies made in a long time, and you got that interaction with the normal people, if you can say that as well, how they didn't like them and how they tried to get them out, and the twist they did with Uncle Fester, and like say Christopher Lloyd as Uncle Fester was just unbelievable. And if they've got a casting like a part like the casting even halfway as good as they did with the Addams Family, I know we're getting it again soon in Wednesday, but again, that looks like it's had more money put in that TV show than this film got itself.
There was a rumor. There was a rumor because a lot of people said, "Oh, the Munsters, it's got a $40 million budget," and
did it?
But there was a rumor going around saying it was 40 million. But Rob Zombie actually came out a few days ago, and he didn't give a figure to how much it was, but he said, "Oh, if you compare these films and the Munsters, it totals up 30 million." So I did the math. So he did. He did so
math?
He compared it to Halloween 2, which was 15 million, 3 from Hell, 3 million, The Lords of Salem and 31 were 1.5 million each, leaving $9 million for the Munsters.
Right.
So that was his budget for that, and yeah,
it didn't feel like a $9 million movie. I'll give him his due with that.
The thing is, though, if you look at the detail in the visuals, you can kind of see it. Because you've got to remember, he built all those sets. So he built a full Mockingbird Lane.
I can't get any money that's in his house.
Those were some of the first images we saw. So if you take that on board, you can kind of see it.
I bet you any money though it's in his house. That whole set is just being uplifted and put in his backyard.
Why not?
The whole color as well, because he does know what he's doing. Like the Addams Family set from the 60s, that was all pinks and yellows and everything.
My God, yeah.
So a lot of people give the stick for the colorization, but yeah, that's what it was like in the 60s. That's how it would have been for the studio audience. That's what they would have seen, these bright colors.
Yeah, they proved that with what was it, the most recent one with the Christopher Nolan, was it The Lighthouse with
yes.
What's it called? Twilight
Robert
Pattinson. Because it showed his outfits, he was like dressed like basically a Mario brother. But to accentuate the colors in black and white, they have to use certain tones.
Well, that's why when it's what was it, Singing in the Rain? For all it was in color, there's certain colors that still at the time didn't stand out, and rain being one of them. And he was singing in the milk, not the rain.
Do you think though, guys, off the back of that, Rob Zombie will do a black and white version of this?
I would really like him to.
I would love that.
I reckon there'll be a DVD on extra next year. Like I said, there'll be a director's cut, but they'll do like a Mad Max Thunder Road, like a black and white version.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Fury Road.
Logan did that as well.
Like Logan. Logan's beautiful in black and white. I think people would probably respond to it better if it was in black and white.
I still think they'll think Sherry Moon made some choices.
Which she did.
Because I never want to shit on. I don't really want to shit on anyone, especially her. But there were some choices.
It wasn't good. It wasn't. No.
To be fair, I probably cast Donna, and Donna would have probably done a better performance.
Donna would
is
make a
Lily.
brilliant Lily Munster.
Donna is Lily and Kev is Herman. Come on, guys. Come on.
And
Halloween party
costume.
sorted.
Halloween done.
get Sam as grandpa.
Dick, I was going to say you.
And I got there before you.
Guys,
Yeah.
can I pitch a theory about this Blu-ray special and that kind of stuff? Because there's something Paul said before, and the structure of this film's been confusing the fuck out of me. Say the first half, I love it, and it's almost like the bit that where Herman and Lily get married. It's like a different film. It's like everything changes. The cinematography changes. The lighting changes. The tone of it changes, with the exception of that little blue screen bit. Paul mentioned about how long they'd been filming principal photography for this film, and that's not the way that Rob Zombie usually does things. He's normally quite quick to get the principal photography out the way. When we're talking about studio panics, I think Rob Zombie's original vision of this film has been cut in half. And I think it's cut in half at the wedding scene. And I think what happens in the second part of the film is a studio demanded reshoot to appease the fans, to take it up to Mockingbird Lane. You know, imagine that landscape that you've got to begin with, like I was talking about, this kind of electrified Victorian. Imagine Paris, 1887, just as the World's Fair is about to kick off, with that added electric vibe that Rob Zombie had going. I think there's a second part of this film that has not been published. And when we get it properly, we're going to get the look of the first film done for 2 hours, as opposed to the first. I timed it. It's an hour and 6 minutes. And at an hour and 6 minutes, it's like somebody goes and turns all of the lights off, turns all of the color off, turns all of the thematic building off in this film. That's not the way Rob Zombie makes films. Something's gone awry in the filmmaking process with this.
Do you think, Grant, because this was shot in Hungary, so the whole location, like most of it was shot in Hungary. Do you think at the end of, say, like the filming schedule for the, obviously the Hungary shoots, Universal's coming to me, executives come in and gone, right, let's have a look at the footage of what you've got so far, and then they've just not been happy?
I reckon potentially so. Whether they go to Paris or not is by the by, but I would like to see that. You know, imagine it, you know, they sail out across the Atlantic and you get all the crew have gone because they got scared and they jump overboard. Oh, well, at least we've got some time together. And then they're wandering around in the electrified Paris and what have you. And the concept of Mockingbird Lane is not there yet. This is supposed to be a prequel.
Yeah.
And up until the middle of the film, there's nothing to suggest modernization aside from neon lights.
Yeah. Because the whole premise of the werewolf brother-in-law, I can't remember his name now, trying to scam them out of the castle, that didn't seem to fit in the film, if that makes sense.
Nah.
Yeah, that seemed like a completely separate story, and just
give me a second. The dog wants to be out. Get the fuck off.
There's no redemption, is it? There's no like payoff for that.
It's Greta.
She's very excited, Gretel. Look at this fucking moron.
Greta. I keep calling her Greta. Bless him, man.
Yes. Grant's has been taken over by Herman Munster the dog.
I want a Great Dane called Herman now.
I can really see what you're saying now. Looking at it that way, like how broken up the film is. I bet you have the studios come in and said, you need to do something, you need to rectify this, and that's what we've gotten.
Yeah.
That's a real castle in Hungary that they used.
I do think.
Sorry about that, guys. 9.5 stones on zoomies. Sorry, Charlotte.
I do think that's why it feels like it should have been a TV show, because it does feel like two separate things.
Yeah.
And the end especially felt like an extended pilot.
But
we won some money.
But that's the thing. That's the thing, though. As you said, Rob Zombie probably had his vision. The studios wanted their vision.
Where's she gone now?
And they've we've lost the Charlotte again.
Greta's found her.
Right.
The speed she went out that back door, she might have fucking got to her already. Jesus. You know when they do that thing where their legs do that?
Yeah.
Just before they're about to go fucking crackers. Imagine
Coco
that, but it's 9 stone of it.
Yeah. Coco has a tendency for doing that. She kind of like leers down and like ready to pounce.
Bless I just felt bad there. I just had like the Mike Sazowski on Sam. She had the Noddy Up North logo over her face.
Oh,
Oh,
Right,
Charlotte's back.
Charlotte's back. Right.
I got signed out. I don't know why.
Don't know.
Sorry.
It's the studio.
Oh my
exec.
God, can you remember the days when that used to happen when we didn't record live?
Yeah.
If we had more than like one person on, we had to like sign up at like the 45-minute mark and go back in again. Oh my God, memories.
Yes. There's I think the initial reaction this is going to get, the film is going to get a lot of shit, and I think Rob Zombie's going to get a lot of it aimed at him, but we'll unless he comes out and tells us what's happened or if there's anything being said, we're never going to know. It's always going to be these theories and stuff. But as you said, as a cohesive standalone movie, it doesn't work. Like, let's be honest, the plot wise is barely there. I like that. I again, like similar to what Grant said, the start bit. It started strong with the idea of doing the prequel of how Lily met Herman, but there should have been more, like a longer payoff to that type of like connection. It kind of like went, right, Lily's dating other people, put away the monster, great. See this cool guy on TV, this mad scientist creating a monster, doofus assistant fucks up. Like I say, always going to be the comedy jokes. Like I say, that's the family element that kind of worked well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just putting it together. It's just such a shame because done right, this would have been up there with. We would have been talking about this with the likes of the Addams Family or like say any type of like sitcom, because it's always hard to change like say your opinion from nostalgia. Like anything that gets made from something you love. Like look at basically changing computer game into movies as well. It's such a hard transition to do, and especially something that's got that has when people watch things like the Munsters, you remake it because you want to see new stuff, not because it hasn't aged well, because it still works as it is now. It's not like it's not like a bad TV show where like say there's like comedy that doesn't quite hit the mark or quite not PC these days. You don't get that with the Munsters. It's about being accepted and just like seeing beauty in like monstrous things, and you were kind of getting that at the start. And it kind of didn't go all the way. It kind of like went, shit, I need to make a horror film, or shit, I need to get some more references in. I need to get this person in. I need to get this person in. And it was kind of like, right, I'm not. This is going to sound like one of your parents. I'm not angry. I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed.
I hate that. Oh my gosh, I hate that. I hate that saying. It absolutely cuts to the core of us.
there was
Visually,
a scene. Sorry, go on, Charlotte.
Visually, it was everything I wanted from a Munsters movie. It looked exactly how you would imagine the Munsters in colour to look. It was just the writing and Sherry Moon that let it down for me.
Anyway. Big question: has Kev watched it yet?
He hasn't. I don't think he's going to. Right. I've been trying to get him to watch it, but he's a massive Munsters fan. He's got the DVD box sets and everything. So, and he's not a Rob Zombie fan.
Right.
So, but I would never tell anybody not to watch it.
Same here.
Say watch it.
Yeah.
And make up your own minds.
Exactly.
But that's the thing. It's going to be one of them movies, unfortunately, that is going to live by reputation.
It's going to be the answer the call of the horror industry.
Yeah, it's going to
look at how bad that did trailer wise. Like it's still got like one of the worst dislikes in movie trailers, and because of that, it followed into the film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Shame. What were you going to say earlier anyway, Goodwill?
There was Paul was on about, how, the first half of the movie, they were like, these are different people and they should be accepted. There was a scene towards the end where Herman's about to go to work and he goes outside and he sees everyone outside of the Halloween costumes. Mm-hmm. He's like, oh, there are monsters. But Lily does this speech and it was about, how they may be different, but, they are our neighbours and we have to accept them and, blah, 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 blah. And it reminds me of the original Munsters where Herman's talking to Eddie.
Yeah, that's
about how people are different,
scene.
And I love that, and I thought that was very reminiscent of that scene as well.
Yeah, but then they went and shitted it by going outside and freaking out.
I know. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's sort of, yeah, and it's sort of like, that pissed me off a little bit. Because you did this.
You've just because that scene has been kind of shown about as a, it's okay to be you kind of thing, and then they went and shit all over it by screaming. Oh yeah.
But that was the ending all over. It just felt like such a rust piece of crap. I'll be honest. It was one of the worst endings I've seen in a long time. I just
sat there and went, "Is that it? Is that it?" And then the music started playing, and we're like, "It cannot be. That cannot be the ending." Yeah. And he's like, "Yeah, it's the end." And I was like, I'm in shock. I actually sat there for about 5 minutes afterwards going, "Fuck, I just watched."
Grant blew my mind though, because I am now 100% convinced there is the zombie cut, and I think we need to start that trend.
Release
the zombie cut.
You know what though? None of them type of cuts are going to happen ever again because of what would happen with the Justice League, because that's fucked up DC so badly. Because everyone's
that
arguing.
They have to make tax cuts and cut their films.
Yeah,
dickheads.
Yeah.
Choices.
So and they made
choices have been made.
So yes, let's give this a rating. And so start with Grant. What were you going to rate this out of 5? I like doing 5s.
Yeah.
2.5. I'd give it 5 out of 5 for the first hour and 0 out of 5 for the second. So 2.5.
Mm-hmm. Goodwill.
I would give it. Yeah, I'm more or less with Grant. 2.5 in total. The first half of the film, and then the second half was just absolute bollocks.
Charlotte.
2.5, because I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. So yeah.
Sammy?
I'm going to go a little bit higher. I want to say 3.5.
You're too nice, you. You're too nice, you.
I'm not. Oh no, because the more I like a film that can get us talking and get us thinking, and this has generally. It's like Tusk.
Yeah.
No, I really
don't you dare slag off Tusk now. That's
good. I would never, because I really. But it's a lot, mind though. It is a lot. Let's be honest, it's a lot. But when I sat and think about it and how long them thoughts have been running around my head for like the rest of the week, which this film has done. It's been in there. I kind of like. Yeah, I like it. I don't mind it. I would watch it again.
But is that because you haven't seen many films? So maybe we need to get more films put in your head.
That's what Ant said. He was like, Ant was like, do you like these type of films because you've not got a lot to reference? I was like,
there's not a lot to compare them to.
Yes.
But I have got eyes.
Yeah.
So
and you've got an opinion. So and we don't know if you're wearing pants.
I'm not. You are the original, the OG no pants party.
But yes,
so there you go.
You Grant and Goodwill.
I'm going to say probably a 2. I'm not going to be as generous as you guys. I'll never watch this again. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to go back to it. It was an experience. I'm glad I watched it, because I would hate to be one of these people that's shitting it and without giving it its chance. I'm glad my wife would probably give it 0. She really didn't like it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Nick having a lot of tolerance for this.
But I was laughing at it last night, because when we were watching it, she was going, "I can't believe I'm watching this shit." I went, "Look, I'll give you every chance not to watch this." I was more than prepared to watch this during the day. You don't have to watch it. It was your choice to watch this. And she moaned all the way through as well. So yeah.
I'll give Anthony's dues. He never said a goddamn word during it. I think he was just shocked as to what he'd actually woken up to.
Yes. So yeah, that was the Nerdy Up North review of the Munsters. So not as bad as probably a lot of people were probably expecting. I think the takeaway I think from the movie is give it a chance. Don't just say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch it." Make up your own mind. It might be someone's favorite film. It might be someone's next cult classic. You never know. Like say, Rocky Horror started one way, but to be fair, that had better things in there than this. But
you've gone from give it a chance, guys, Just give it Budge Rocky Horror's better. I think there's a lot of people in the chat who are not, and I think Jake is definitely one of them. Given that he threw his Twitch partner under the bus, and which is why he's joining us tonight.
It's always a pleasure having Goodwill with us. But thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks here. I know I'm going to plug this again, but if you can go back and listen to BBC Radio Newcastle, where we actually did do something and get on there and actually had a part of the podcast played, and we actually got 2 subscribers from that. So,
we got plugged. We got plugged by the BBC.
Yes. I don't know if we'll be on the archives now with Jimmy Savile, but we'll see.
Oh my gosh.
We're on that level now, guys.
Right, we're there. We're at the end of the podcast and we are there.
Yes, on Sunday.
We're at the end of the podcast. He hasn't mentioned the Goonies.
Oh, Charlotte, man! For 6!
He nearly, do you know what? He could have let in with the whole fact that, on the BBC, and
I really wanted to know how he was going to link the Munsters to the Goonies.
No, I've stopped doing that now. Like I say, I think I was cheapening the name of the Goonies by doing it. So I'll keep it for special occasions every so often though. But the Goonies will be returning to conversations at the same bad time as well. But but Sunday's episode is going to be, again, one with choices. We have got the enigmatic Kelly. I think that's the best way to describe her.
Kelly's coming back, guys.
Yes.
And she's bringing her notebook.
Yes, we're doing...
and it's a long one.
Yeah, we're doing the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So, we're busy trying to watch all them, and I am trying. I'm trying.
I'm gonna do what I did for the Jason ones. I'm gonna watch what I can and then fill the gaps in with
we did the same with
YouTube
Halloween.
videos.
You did the same with Halloween as well. Like, see, you got the last 2 Halloweens. I'm not saying these words. Paul, you talk about them.
It's the 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
I've seen enough.
We're going to go all things Freddy. I did look to see if I could get a Freddy jumper, but they're really expensive this time of year for some reason.
Charlotte's got one.
I don't think it's going to fit me.
Oh, probably not. Probably not.
But yes, Nightmare on Elm Street. We're going to talk all things Freddy. Then what's the week after?
Serial killers, isn't it?
Serial killers. So Grant and Michaela. So
my sister's coming back,
and
we have some great talks for this.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some good material for this one.
Me
as well,
and my sister have been coming up with some ideas, mainly just to get her on the show. So that one's going to be fun.
And we are going to try and fit in some other ones as well. I know we keep promising it, we keep talking about it. We have to do the review on the sexiest movie ever made, The Mummy.
Yes, we do. We do.
And
more like the daddy.
Can someone put Goodwill back in the box now?
Nice,
no,
Goodwill.
Leave him out.
Oh, God.
By that time,
this is going.
he's been out for a long time. Don't worry. But yes,
I'll be your Scorpion King.
Yes. But he's only got a little.
That's gonna be a soundbite somewhere, isn't it? Like Grant saying that.
But yes, like I say, please follow us anywhere you can. Join us on the Facebook group. I think we have the final face-off tomorrow between the 2 horror movies. Silence of the Lambs is just basically butchered. He's Dog Soldiers today. So
is it out? Is it out finally?
Well, it will be. So basically, it's winning by over 100 votes. So it'll be Silence of the Lambs versus Alien. So we'll find out. Is it going to be?
Sorry, Kev. Another one of yours is going to be booted out.
Sorry, Kev.
So that'll be the final tomorrow. Then we are moving on to wrestlers. We're going to try and find out who everyone's favorite wrestler is. Yes. So guys, thank you so much for taking time out this Friday night and talk about a movie. It's the best way
be kind.
A movie.
Maybe, yes. But yes, so I know Goodwill will probably be twitching with Jake at some point. I don't know what Charlotte's book club's
Charlotte,
gonna be.
what's your theme going to be in October?
Please be like say is it going to be love stories?
Yeah. Are you gonna throw that curveball and be like, I'm not going all spooky?
It's going to
Novelisation
be
of the Goonies.
Christmas. It's going to be Christmas.
You dare. Because
Apparently
you and
it's not
Amanda
too-
can get in the bin.
No, it is horror. It will be announced tomorrow with the winner of the September competition.
Cool. I didn't even know
Well,
there was a
giveaway.
competition at the moment. So yeah, is that many
It's
people
not a
going up?
competition, it was just a giveaway.
Charlotte's got things going on, man.
All right. I'm not the leader of this
Yeah.
cult at all.
You're going to
Not
be
a cult.
usurped by Charlotte in our book club.
All hail the Page Queen. Hail! Hail the Page Queen. Hail!
Hail!
Oh, I want a t-shirt with that on.
Hashtag Charlotte's feet.
There we go.
Yes.
Turning the pages with them.
Oh,
Will you be taking footnotes?
That's good. Oh my God, that's what you need, Charlotte. You need like the Page Queen. Hashtag Charlotte's feet, and on the back of it, taking footnotes. That's the t-shirt.
You've just
There
made
you go.
Kev's wanging material right there. Well, yes. But anyways, same bat time, same bat channel, guys.
Stay nerdy, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.